Welcome to TisTalk.
Welcome to TisTalk. This is a podcast coming from Tisbury, Wiltshire and surrounding villages. I'm Julianne Murphy.
And I'm Mary Myers.
It's the week beginning 3rd of February.
Hello, Julianne.
Hello, Mary. We were talking yesterday and I was saying to you that I couldn't think of a lot that was going on in Tisbury other than I'd seen a man with a parrot on his head in the high street. But there is stuff going on in Tisbury that maybe we should have a quick chat about. One of the things is that the swimming pool is having its AGM next Monday in the evening. And I think there are some concerns around the swimming pool. But what I hear is that Wiltshire Council are thinking of taking it over, which I think is a worry. And the other thing I heard on the grapevine is that Provenance is going to close its doors.
Shame.
It's a real shame. I don't know when. We've already just lost a shop in Tisbury on the high street, and to have another one empty would be terrible. So that's there's more things happening than a man going around with a parrot on his head. That's what I wanted to tell you. Okay?
That's interesting stuff. Thanks very much, Julianne.
So what are we doing this week, Mary, on TisTalk?
Well, we've got an interesting programme. The main feature is the East Window, which is going to be unveiled this Sunday, of course. And I had this great opportunity a few weeks before Christmas to go up the scaffolding when the scaffolding was still up, when the window was being put in, with the artist himself, Tom Denny. So we've got a little report about that. And then we've also got a sort of guided tour of Witchmark Brewery.
We've got Kate Gann this week.
Yes, and she's reviewing a film that's going to be on the end of the week called The Outrun. And we've also got Kiara Holly Pagliano, with a lovely soundscape that she did on the theme of nature.
Okay. A few weeks ago, Mary followed stained glass artist Tom Denny up the scaffolding in the church to view and talk about his new work, The East Window in St. John's.
Yeah, that's all right.
Is it?
Yeah.
Phew.
Are you going to come up, Mary? I'm not ready. Shall we do the talk down here?
I'd like to go up and have a look, but yeah, that would be good. What do you think?
Well, seeing something for the first time, what one thinks is anxiety. Extraordinary to see the 5 lancets, these 5 great sections of the window, as a whole.
Yeah.
I've never been able to do that during this long period of working on it. So every square inch has been deeply considered and worked on over a long time.
Yes.
And now at last, here it is as a whole. And, obviously from the scaffolding, we can't really see it as a whole because the various layers of the scaffolding in the way were too close. But nevertheless...
Just describe what we're looking at, please, Tom.
Well, the words looking at are central to the whole of this window. The whole thing is a meditation on seeing. So various passages from Scripture have been used to explore ways of seeing and thinking about seeing. At the centre of the window, higher up, is the story of the Transfiguration. One can see from here the feet of Jesus and of Elijah and Moses. It's a story in the Bible where Jesus' friends who dozed off woke up to see him illuminated, transfigured by light, and in conversation with 2 long-dead prophets from the Old Testament. Yes, from these steps, Mary,
yes,
you can get a good idea of the story I was talking about.
Okay.
Just from here.
All right.
Across at the centre.
Um,
And then
okay, great. Shall we go up then? That's good.
If you don't want, you could just stand on the ladder, but...
I'm just working out how to hold the recorder and come up the ladder at the same time. Well, that's okay.
To me.
Thank you very much. Thanks very much. So we're now on the second level of the scaffolding, and we can see Jesus here, and we're right up against the tracery, and it's rather special even just to touch the old church.
Yeah.
So here your design sort of opens up, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. Interestingly, again, it's so important where one is in relation to stained glass. So you see how dramatically it changes where one moves, one's position.
Yes.
So this, we can now sort of make out the whole story, and there's a gathering of characters coming to the centre. And I think there's a passage from Isaiah I used, which goes something like, all the ends of the earth shall see the salvation of our God. So in other words, we're all participating in this central event of sudden realisation.
And even some animals here as well.
Yes, they're allowed to be involved. And
we've got foxes, we've got sheep. Or
yes,
are they wolves?
There's a fox and a wolf and a sheep and a lamb.
We're talking about the animal life, we've got the bird life here.
That's partly just to help convey movement and animation.
And I mean, I'm looking at this for the very first time. We've seen this in the studio, but not in place. I mean, I'm now looking at the deep purples on each side, on the left and the right. What was your intention there?
To give intensity to the predominant colour, which is gold, a contrast that emphasises the yellow gold character of the window as a whole. I feel that I wanted to make works of art in churches because of the idea of working with a building. And yes, I suppose in making stained glass in a church, there's an assumption that the subject matter is serious and meaningful. One doesn't have to say, I want to make something serious and meaningful. That's just accepted as a matter of course. And also accepted is that anything in a church, any work of art put into a church isn't an event. It's just part of the continuing life of a place. So there's no need for people to feel they've got to suddenly understand, enjoy, approve of a new work of art. There's plenty of time for them to get to know it. And then if it's worthwhile and rewarding, then I think it's very important that it goes on being worthwhile and rewarding to the person who lives in the place and who comes in many, many times during a year. You know, I would hope that someone in Tisbury with this window would still feel, oh yes, I hadn't quite realised that about it, or I hadn't noticed that detail, or I didn't know that the colour behaved like that at this time of day, and so on and so on. So there's always something that is going to be rewarding for the viewer year after year.
What about the sort of aspect of memorial in this window, Tom?
One of the lovely things about this window is that so many Tisbury people have been involved in it, partly simply in fundraising. So it's been a huge joint effort for the parish to cover the cost of this window, and people have given what they could afford towards it. And in many cases, people have given parts of the window, or paid for parts of the window, and the window has thus incorporated memorials to members of their family or their beloveds, so that the window does embody a lot of memorial to Tisbury people. None of the figures in the window are intended to be very particularly portraits. However, some figure groups do embody perhaps a specific memorial.
for a
to
family,
people, for a family or an individual. So, yes, I think there are layers and layers of involvement from the people of Tisbury in this project.
Yes, great.
This is TisTalk from Tisbury, Wiltshire.
Next, Anne Martin had a fascinating tour of the new distillery at Fonthill called Witchmark, and started by asking Eddie Large about why the name Witchmark.
Why is the distillery called Witchmark, Eddie?
Well, on our old buildings that we've moved into at Fonthill, several of the buildings have witch marks in the entranceways. And the witch marks are a carving that's designed to catch and trap witches or evil spirits and protect the contents of the building inside. And of course, if you go back to medieval times, food was incredibly important, and the food stores needed protecting. So we've called the distillery Witchmark Distillery. The brewery is Stone Daisy Brewery, and Stone Daisy is a colloquial name for a witchmark.
So tell us a bit about what inspired you to open up this fantastic new distillery.
Well, it was a lockdown idea that grew arms and legs. It started in October 2022 October 2020, when my two business partners came along and said they wanted to start a whisky distillery. What did I know about it? And I think my answer was something along the lines of, not very much, but I've got an awful lot of time on my hands to think about it. And it grew, and each time we looked at it, we thought that this would work, and it was a perfect place to set up. We're here at Fonthill, and Fonthill is the centre of one of the premium barley growing regions in the country, and has been producing malting barley for decades. And with that comes the infrastructure to turn barley into malts that we use as the product to start our process. And there's a maltings down at Warminster, and it's the oldest working maltings in the country. So it was a really good idea, and we are in a prime region for doing it.
So what are your products here? What are you actually making?
The main aim of the business is to produce a premium English whisky. Now that takes an awful long time to mature. A minimum of 3 years in wooden barrels before it's legally even called a whisky. So we're also making gins, and we'll make a vodka, and the vodka will be out in the new year. But there are 3 gins available now. So it's we're spirits based. We still have the brewery up at Berwick St Leonard, also on the Fonthill estate, producing a range of beers.
As I was walking round with you, having a look at your incredible process, you explained to me that the waste product is all reused. Can you tell us a bit about that?
Yes, well, we don't use the term waste product. We don't really have any. All the grain goes out to a dairy farm near Hindon, and all the liquid effluent goes up to an anaerobic digester in Codford, where it helps to run a combined heat and power plant, putting electricity into the grid, and the heat heats greenhouses, and the liquid effluent that comes out of there comes back to the farm as fertiliser. So it's a nice circular.
That's great. That's great. That's lovely. So it is truly a local product.
Yes, all the grain that we use is grown here at Fonthill. It goes to Warminster and then comes back for us to work with. So it's completely Fonthill, Wiltshire centred.
That's fantastic. I was having a nice cup of coffee in your visitor centre before I met you. So tell me a bit about the visitor centre and how local people can come and see the process.
We've just opened the visitor centre, which is also our shop where our products are available. But it's an opportunity. We're booking tours, opportunity for people to come and see the process, where we are, how we do it, and at the end of the tour, to sample some of our products and enjoy them. And also we can then tell people where they can buy our products, obviously in our own shop here at Fonthill, but also both sides of Tisbury High Street, in the deli, and also at Gardner and Beadle.
Oh, great. So how do people actually book to come on a tour here?
Well, we are booking, all tours have to be booked. We want to be able to control the numbers so we don't upset our neighbours here in Fonthill with a Clarkson's Farm type moment. We're going to avoid that. We're going to be good neighbours. But if you go to the website, which is www.witchmark.co.uk, our online shop is there, where you can buy our products and get them sent wherever you like. But also that's where you can buy a tour or vouchers. Vouchers can go for the tour, vouchers can go for products that we have in the shop here as well.
That's fantastic. Thank you very much. Great local product. Thank you.
Thank you for coming out.
TisTalk, a podcast from Tisbury on tistalk.buzzsprout.com.
Now Kate Gam reviews the movie Outrun, starring Saoirse Ronan.
A new season of films launches in February as part of the Magic Lantern Film Club at the Victoria Hall, starting with a screening of The Outrun. Based on the book by Amy Liptrot, the film stars Saoirse Ronan, who you may have seen in the screening of Brooklyn, or perhaps more recently in Blitz, which was shown on TV over Christmas. Saoirse Ronan plays Rona, a woman who grew up in the Orkney Isles before moving to London. She embraces London life, but finds herself overwhelmed by her party lifestyle, taking refuge in drinking as a coping mechanism. Rona is a misfit. She wants to escape her old life in rural Scotland, but can't cope with the feeling of isolation that city life can bring. The film explores the pull she feels in both directions. The security and wild beauty of her life in the Orkneys, which is beautifully filmed, is also where her mother is based, played by Saskia Reeves, who is so good as a recovering alcoholic herself in the TV show Slow Horses. Once again, Saoirse Ronan is outstanding as the conflicted Rona as we follow her mission to lead her best life. The Outrun will be screened on Sunday the 9th of February at 7 o'clock. Doors open at 6:30. If you're not already a member of the Magic Lantern Film Club, you can buy a ticket for £8 adults, £5 under 18s. Tickets are available at newvictisbury.com. Remember that Magic Lantern members get to nominate and then vote for the films they would like to see, so worth considering if you're not already a member. The new season embraces everything from Hollywood new releases to world cinema, all on our doorstep. More details at the same website, newvictisbury.com.
Follow us on Instagram at TisTalk Radio.
And here are the what's-ons for Monday the 3rd of February. Tisbury clubs and events are back in full swing this week. On Tuesday the 4th, the 11:15 until 12:15 chair yoga takes place in the Hinton Hall. At 7 p.m. on Tuesday, the Tisbury Parish Council meeting will take place in the parish reading room. Also on Tuesday, the Tisbury Footpath Club is holding their AGM at 7:30 at the Hinton Hall. On Wednesday the 5th of February, the Tisbus outing will be going to the Wiltshire College for lunch. The fare is £8 and pick-up will be at 10:30 a.m. At 10:30 until 12 noon, the pop-up cafe will be in Hinton Hall and the community cafe lunch will be in the Methodist Church from 11:30 until 1:30. On Thursday the 6th, the Tisbury Carnival ECM Extraordinary Committee meeting will be in the Victoria Hall starting at 7:30 p.m. All are welcome to attend to discuss the future of the carnival and the appeal for new volunteers. On Saturday the 8th, Young Nature Watch meets at the Hinton Hall at 10 a.m. for Dormice Nesting Box Workshop. And on Saturday morning, listen out for a rare full peal of bells being rung in St John's Church from 10 a.m. for an astonishing 3 hours as part of the new East Window dedication. Later in the day at 7 p.m, for 7:30, Les Miserables is showing at the Victoria Hall as part of the Big Screen musical series. On Sunday the 9th of February, the dedication service for the new east window in St John's Church will take place at 7 p.m. And at 6:30 for 7 p.m, the movie The Outrun will be showing at the Victoria Hall. And that's it for this week.
That's all from us. We've been Julianne Murphy
and Mary Myers, with special thanks to Anne Martin, Lal Pointer and Kate Gam. And to play us out today, we have a lovely composition by young Tisbury resident, 17-year-old Kiara Holly Paliano, Sounds of Nature.